What is that thing you're doing?
It's technical. It's when we're a little tired. Something is different.
Good.
Anything different is good.
Go ahead. Your bus is leaving.
Backhouse man. I'm a scientist.
What's always a question of good? You only think about the bad.
I just have a feeling that something is wrong.
Good things do happen.
Make it Centauri time.
Hello and welcome to Groundhog Jungle, and welcome to 2019. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
And we're very, very excited because we haven't sat down and done one of these in a month.
Yeah, and it's
been
good
a
to be
month
back.
later. We've had
Yeah.
a good Christmas, we've had a good New Year, and now we are ready. I'm a little bit hungover,
Yeah.
and we are ready to do a brand new podcast.
And everyone's calming down at the new year. Even Super Furious Roy is probably quite calm.
Yes. Super Furious Roy, not Furious Roy.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was Furious Roy and then he became Super Furious.
Is it possible to change your YouTube handle? I don't think it is. I just read
I
it
like
wrong.
to think our podcast tipped him over the edge.
Yeah. So with the new year, well, firstly, I'm Alex Hillman,
And I'm Matthew Fleming.
and today we're going to be looking at Mad Dog and Glory.
Yes.
But before we do, I've been looking at a little bit at the analytics of the site and of also these podcasts, and so there's some interesting viewing figures. For some reason. And I hope you don't mind me discussing our viewing figures with you, but there may only be 3 of you. For some reason, Jungle Burger has the most views at something like 89.
yeah.
And then there's a lot we've done recently that only have 3. Now I'm assuming 2 of those are you and me. Also, it might be that everyone decided wisely to give us a try out with the first episode.
Yeah.
And then gave up.
But then I think, I don't know if I was listening to these, what one I would start with. I would want to start with the ones I knew more about, like Groundhog Day, but then probably out of completer's sake I would start at the beginning, and then maybe just life gets in the way. Our listeners have busy lives.
They do have busy lives. Maybe we should offer a download service.
Maybe we should.
Or actually put it onto Apple and make it a proper podcast.
Yeah, that was a plan, wasn't it?
It was the plan, but then I found out it cost money, so it isn't. So instead we do this.
If you find this on Apple in the future, just know we've come into an unexpected amount of money.
Yeah. You can also rip these onto MP3s and listen to them as podcasts in your own right.
You
I'm not
could.
saying that's fully legal, but
Oh.
given that it's us,
Yeah.
and this is non-profit, you can do it.
Yeah,
if you
our
want.
lawyer in the corner is saying he's doing a bit of a sort of face, you know, sort of could go either way.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mad Dog and Glory.
Mad Dog and Glory.
2019.
I love this film. If you look at our scores for this, there's a big disparity between them. One of our biggest.
Is there?
Yeah, I think. Can we just say the scores now? Is
Yes,
that-
yeah.
I'm pretty sure you gave it 8 and I gave it 9.75, which is
Interesting.
pretty big because we don't normally go that different.
No, so I think we have gone more different before. Though.
Yeah, with the earlier ones, I
Yeah,
think.
we've separated by 2 before. haven't
Yeah,
we?
we've got that's as far as we've
What
got.
did I give it?
You gave it 8.
Right, 8, yeah.
And I gave it 9.75.
Now, of course, the big, sort of not gimmick of this film, but the big thing about this film is that it's got Bill Murray in it and it's got Robert De Niro in it. And typically, Robert De Niro plays tough gangster types and Bill Murray plays comic relief, and they swap in
Yes.
this. And they swap roles. This one's got Uma Thurman in it as well.
And it's a nice transition, though, for it, because Bill Murray is a gangster, but he's a gangster who wants to be a comedian.
Yes.
And he's telling jokes, and they're shit jokes,
Yes.
and they're not going down very well. And Robert De Niro helps him to become funny, which is quite nice. It's almost like a Disney story.
It is like
in a way.
Yeah, although it's probably too adult to be a Disney story.
Yeah,
isn't
there
it?
is
'Cause
sex
there's a
in it,
sex scene
yeah,
between
yeah.
Uma Thurman and Robert De Niro.
Brief overview of the
Who
plot.
looks like he's really enjoying it. But he's
Robert-
nervous, isn't he?
Robert De Niro plays a police photographer called Mad Dog. He's got a real name, but the Mad Dog is ironic.
Yes,
because he's so calm.
Very calm, yeah.
But he's a bit, a little bit lost, a little bit like not lovelorn. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sad figure.
He's a sad figure,
Yeah.
and I think his colleagues sort of view him that way. One day he goes into a shop and he saves the life of a gangster, Frank Milo, played by Bill Murray. And Bill Murray's character then offers him. It's a little bit like a Disney story in that he sort of gifts him something, a magical gift, which turns out to be Uma Thurman, a very young Uma Thurman as well.
Yeah, because this was
21 or
90s.
20 or something like
So
that.
I think she would have just done Pulp Fiction.
No, she hadn't. Pulp Fiction was 94, wasn't it?
What year is this?
Reservoir. This is 93.
Oh, okay. So before Pulp Fiction then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, she's very young because she looks a bit older in Pulp Fiction. I think she's supposed
Yeah.
to be a wife. In this, she is a young girl who I think we assume has maybe been a prostitute. I mean, a gangster is able to procure her and give her away.
Yeah. She's what used to be called a gangster's mole.
Yeah. But Robert De Niro has got to give her back within a sort of a time period. He's only borrowing her temporarily, and yet, of course, he doesn't want to. He falls in love with her. They become close, and he doesn't want to give her back. And then Frank challenges him essentially to like a duel in the street, but gets all the friends involved. It's a very slight film. There's not a huge amount of plot, but it's one of my favourite films ever. I love it so much. It's one of my favourite films ever, not just a favourite Bill Murray film. In fact, I loved this before I even realised. I knew Bill Murray was in it, but I loved it before I ever thought of it as a Bill Murray film.
What is it that you like so much about it?
Well, it's like a play, isn't it?
Yes.
And I like plays.
Yes. It's got a simple plot.
It's got a simple plot. It's simple, accessible, which means you can focus more on the emotions.
Yeah.
I like that character of Robert De Niro being... I love him playing against type, because it is against type for me. He's one of the greatest actors of his generation, and he's doing something very different.
I always think it's interesting when we say against type, isn't it? Because without wanting to...
As an actor, you should be able to do anything.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And without wanting to, no actor should have a type, but or should not have a typical sort of character that people associate with them. But unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, people do associate Robert De Niro with certain types of characters.
Well, by this point, 1993,
certainly by this point,
he'd played
not so much
an
now.
angry boxer.
Yeah.
He'd played an angry taxi driver. Yeah. I can't remember the name of that film. You remember? He played an angry gangster.
Yeah.
And was Goodfellas before this? He was in Goodfellas, wasn't he?
Yes, 1990, I think.
That's right, and of course he was in The Godfather Part 2 as well.
Yeah.
So those are, I would say, his four most famous roles, and they are known for being roles of some power.
And actually, if you look at him now, he's done a much bigger range of roles, including Rocky and Bullwinkle. A bit like Al Pacino.
And Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers, and Meet the whatever the last one was. There were three, weren't there?
Yes. But I can't remember what it's called. And I went to see...
Did you?
Oh, is it something like... It's got Fockers in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Meet the Parents, Meet the Fockers.
Meet the Little Fockers.
The Little Fockers.
That's the one
you're
you
not
went to
meeting
see?
them, it's just called The Little Fockers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I take your word for that. I haven't seen it.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids has got Honey, I Blew Up the Kid as its sequel.
Yeah.
It's also got a third film.
Isn't that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids again?
No, it's Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that. I've got a Will Ferrell point to make in relation to this. Now, Bill Murray is magnificent in this film. It's another reason I love the film so.
Are you going to say Will Ferrell could do it?
No. So I sent you some text messages this week about going to see Holmes and Watson.
Yes.
Now, I liked it. My dad didn't. I didn't love it. You can't love it.
Did you like it, though? Or did you just think it was adequate?
I thought I would give it 3 out of 5 stars. My dad
Really?
gave it 2, and I think that's significant.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. It's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I would say
3 star, you're saying it's all right, and actually a lot of people could love it. 2 stars, you're saying it's difficult even for a mother to love.
Yeah. Well, what's 1 star then?
1 star is shroud it in the toilet.
Okay. Because a lot of people would give it 1 star based on recent reviews.
And a lot of people walked out of it within the first 10 minutes, and I can understand why.
Really?
Because I wanted to. Because in the first 10 minutes, I was like,
I've heard the first 10 minutes is awful.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes is really bad.
What does it consist of?
Well, a joke where Watson is going to kill himself but lands on Holmes's oversized marrow. I mean, it's... That's the level you're pitching at. But here's my point. And so Watson is played by John C. Reilly and Holmes is played by Will Ferrell. John C. Reilly is brilliant. He's one of the best Watsons I've ever seen. You know, and I'm a big fan of the genre, as you know, of the two. Yeah. He's a fantastic Watson, and even though the script isn't very good, he pitches everything just brilliantly.
Right.
You know, he is totally believable and also very silly, and he gets it. Will Ferrell does not know how to play Holmes. He's not good at playing him at all. Not even a comic version of him, of which there have been several. You know, Peter Cook. Michael Caine, brilliant versions. He just can't do it, and the reason he can't do it, and I'm sorry, Will Ferrell fans, but Will Ferrell is not an actor.
No.
He's a comedian.
Yes.
And you can get... Sometimes the two can coincide brilliantly.
Yeah.
But he, like Bill Murray, learnt his craft on Saturday Night Live. However, this film, Mad Dog Glory, is perfect evidence of the fact that that Bill Murray is becoming and has become an actor. Groundhog Day is under his belt, Ghostbusters, so much stuff. He knows what he's doing. He's not a comedian anymore. He makes the transition, I would say, in the early 90s to actor.
Yes.
And then, of course, in about 5 years' time, he's going to get cast in Rushmore, and everyone will think of him as definitely an actor.
Yes.
But at this point, people are still on the fence, and not many people know about Mad Dog and Glory. But Bill Murray is definitely is definitely an actor, and Will Ferrell is definitely a comedian. That's not to say that Will Ferrell isn't brilliant in some things, and he is. He just hasn't got that range that I believe Bill Murray does.
No, and I think you see that in the film, don't you? You see Bill Murray's range in the film. This is the first time he played any character that is not out and out funny, I think. Also,
he can't even do comedy. That's the irony.
Possibly the first time he's played any character that isn't very knowing. Do you know of him? In of himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, or is that true? No, I don't know if I'd agree with that, because think about Caddyshack and films like that. But certainly, it's a third type of character for him. He's played the goons before. He's played the sardonic, sarcastic types before, and now he's going for the tough guy, really.
Yeah.
But
I've got a line of dialogue.
But a lot. So I was just going to add to that is that he's never an out and out one-dimensional tough guy. He still is funny, but he's funny in that he's not trying to be funny. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've still got two answers, actually quite a few answers to your earlier question of why do I love this film so much.
Yeah.
One is the script. I think the script is brilliant, and because it's like a play, you can concentrate more on the script.
Yeah.
There's not anything to distract from it, really.
Yeah.
There are some nice visuals, but there's a line in that when Frank says to Mad Dog, don't ever fuck with me, don't ever disrespect me, don't ever underestimate me. If you do, your life becomes a raging sea. And famously, Robert De Niro was recommended or he was given the role of Frank Milo, the gangster, and he said he didn't want it. He wanted the other role, and then the role became available for Bill Murray, because of course you would expect them to each play each other's roles.
Yes.
Which is fun. But I don't know that an amazing actor that Robert De Niro is. That line I just quoted, I don't know that he could have sold it in the same way, because you don't expect it coming from Bill Murray. It carries more weight.
Yes.
It's when a comedian says something threatening.
Equally, I somehow can't imagine Bill Murray playing Mad Dog.
No.
Not really. I think he's better in the other part, because I just think that he's a bit too meek for Bill Murray. I wouldn't necessarily put Bill Murray in that role. I might have put someone else. For some reason, Bill Pullman's but like just is occurring to me.
Well, when he was filming this, Groundhog Day hadn't come out, so the last thing that audiences had seen him in was probably What About Bob?
Yeah.
And you don't put Bob in charge of a crime scene. No. You know, you can't give Bob a camera and tell him to take pictures of that blood splatter. True. He will not cope.
That's very true. But equally, the more I think about Bill Pullman in the film, the more I think of Mickey Blue Eyes starring Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
And that's a very different type of film.
It's a very different type of film. I've seen that, and it's not too bad.
It's James Caan, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a Freestyle film for sure, isn't it?
Yes.
There's a funny bit where Hugh Grant is romantically engaged on a bed with Jean Tripplehorn, is it?
I think so, yeah.
Isn't she also in a Bill Murray film? Is she in The Man Who Knew Too Little, or is that...
She might be.
There's some sort of cuddly monkey there, and it gets squeezed, and it says, "I have opposable thumbs." that really made me laugh as a child.
Yeah, that makes me laugh.
It's funny, isn't it?
Incidentally, when we get to The Man Who Knew Too Little, I know you weren't talking about that. Well, you mentioned it.
I did.
But there's a scene in there that is the most I've ever laughed at any Bill Murray film. Even my very favourite Bill Murray films is the funniest Bill Murray
okay,
moment.
You're going to have to remind me of that.
I'll remind you of it when we get to it.
Okay.
But it just made me piss myself. Almost literally. I'm laughing just thinking about it. I can't wait to talk about that.
Okay. Right, more about this film.
Yes, I am leaving it mostly to you, because I know this is a very...
Okay. I love it. I think... You know, as I've said to you, maybe I say in the review, I can't remember. I taped it late at night on video cassette.
Yeah.
From the TV when I was about 15 or something like that.
Which is something people used to do.
Which is something you used to do. And we used to do something called Video Plus.
Yes.
Which meant you had to type a special code into your video machine.
So Video Plus was like Sky Plus or a VBox.
Yes,
Plus
but without the cleverness.
But it was, so it was much harder
because it often fucked up, particularly if there had been football or some sort of sport on that pushed all the times back, because it only taped what was on at that time. It didn't tape the actual document itself.
Yes, so it wasn't...
Now Sky adjusts.
Sky adjusts, and obviously it's all computerised now anyway, so all TV is linked up to a particular time slot it records it. Somehow, sometimes, it manages to record before the time you set. I don't know how it does that, but it does. don't know how it does it. Anyway, Video Plus, you used to set in a special code that was printed in the Radio Times.
Yeah.
Or presumably on teletext or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And you would have to go and find it. But the easiest way was TV Guide, Radio Times.
Yeah.
And the codes were breathtakingly complex.
They were long,
and sometimes really weirdly simple. I remember setting a record for The Simpsons once and the code was just 1. It does happen. And then sometimes, for fun, I used to put in a random code in the Video Plus recording and it would come up with Grandstand in about 2 weeks' time or something because everything had a code. And that's
I've
Video
forgotten
Plus.
that.
Yeah.
So I recorded this and I expected something. To be honest, I wanted to watch a violent film.
Right.
I wanted to watch...
Oh, you thought it was violent?
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
had Robert De Niro in it and it was made around that time.
Yeah.
And I knew of all the other films he made, even though I'd never seen one.
Yeah.
So I wanted to watch something like Taxi Driver or something like that, but this one was on, so I taped this. And I was really pleasantly surprised with it. Now, it's directed by John McNaughton. Now, you may not know, we love our Bill Murray trilogies. There are a few
Yes.
of them. He's done 3 films with Harold Franklin. He's done 3 films with...
Rick Moranis as an actor.
Oh, yep. There's a few
Loads of
actor
stuff
ones.
like that.
There was another writer one I was thinking of last night.
Well, there's 3 Michael O'Donoghue
Yes.
films, isn't there?
Yeah, and there was 3 there currently are 3 Jim Jarmusch, but there's going to be another one next year. But at the moment, that's a
wait for
trilogy.
that.
Yeah, I know. You say that, but it will be good, I think.
I hope so.
You're basing this for on the Limits of Control, but remember, he also did Coffee and Cigarettes, which is great.
Yeah.
And Broken Flowers, which I love.
Yeah. That's been sort of forgotten now, I think.
Yeah, it has.
Because at one point
there was
it
a
was
time,
really well known.
There was a time where it was king, I think,
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
indie
definitely.
movement,
Yeah.
but not
That's
now.
sort of been forgotten.
Anyway, this film, though, is directed by John McNaughton, and I think,
Ow.
even though I know you love Wild Things... Oh, actually, maybe you won't agree with this. But I think John McNaughton, he was famous possibly in the late 80s for directing a film called Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which I haven't seen, but is apparently brilliant.
Yeah.
Then his next big known film is this, Mad Dog and Glory, then Wild Things, and then Speaking of Sex, which Bill Murray's in.
Yeah.
Now, he hasn't really...
all 3 films are really enjoyable.
Yeah, but they do decrease in quality, in my view.
They do, but I really enjoyed all 3.
Yes. Oh, they're all enjoyable. But
And I think my favourite is Wild Things.
yeah, but they get less in substance as time goes
Yeah,
on.
well, Wild Things, I mean, he's obviously quite obsessed with sex, isn't he? Because sex is a big part of all 3 films,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Speaking of sex, it's got the mum from Home Alone. in it.
Yes, we're going to talk about what happens with her when we get to that, because
We
that is...
will.
Yeah. It's a
Naughty Bill Murray.
Naughty Bill Murray.
Naughty McNaughton.
Naughty McNaughton. McNaughton is naughty, but I think he is also quite a good director, because in Wild Things,
Yeah.
he knows how to subvert a genre. He knows how to... He's poking fun at a
Yes.
genre. He's... A lot of people who've seen Wild Things not realise that it's a little bit of a piss take of the sort of... the detective movie,
Yeah.
like the 1950s sort of Private Dick film. They won't have got that,
No.
but they can enjoy it on that level.
Well,
Works
they
on
can
two
enjoy it
levels.
on a private dick level as well as a dick level, because there is a dick in it, and it's Kevin Bacon's, and he
Yeah.
is swinging the bacon.
He is swinging that bacon.
There's also tits.
No dicks in this film and no breasts either, I don't think.
No, but I don't
Uma
think so. But
Thurman's-
it's very sexy though.
It is sexy. And basically, Robert De Niro's character is very sad and very lonely, and he's looking out at the apartments, and he sees a couple that are naked, and he wishes that were him. And
Yes.
later, it is him. He becomes that
Yeah.
with Glory, the Uma Thurman character, who's very attractive in it, and also very good. I should have put those in reverse.
Yeah, I mean, she is very good. I think she's extremely underrated as an actress.
I need to say that actually one of the other reasons I love this film is David Caruso. And I did...
I'd forgotten he was in it, but
You've
yes.
forgotten he was in it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he is brilliant. If you
Yeah,
ever
he
get a
is,
chance
yeah,
to
yeah.
watch it again,
Yeah.
he's the reason I love the film as a kid, as I think I say in the review. Because he's just a guy, he's just an ordinary friend. I had no idea who he was at that point, because when I was watching it was way before CSI in Miami or whatever, when he would become one of the biggest actors in the world for a time. And he was just brilliant. He's I think he's a police officer. I'm sure he's a police officer
Yeah.
who's friends with Mad Dog. And at one point, he has to... both Frank and Mad Dog send in their proxies to fight. Because they're not fighters. Frank's not a fighter. He gets things done, but he's not a fighter. And Mad Dog, he's not physically strong enough to be a fighter. He's too meek. So they send in their proxies. Frank Milo sends in his proxy, who is Mike Starr, who's a very imposing actor. He's a brilliant actor. He's been in another Bill Murray film. He's a wonderful actor.
He's also a main part in Dumb and Dumber.
Yes, of course he is, yeah.
And
Yes,
his
of
brother,
course.
Beau Starr, was the police sheriff in Halloween 4 and 5.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
one of
I
them
can see
you've
that
seen,
now.
I think.
Yeah.
He's the main police guy.
I've maybe seen both of them. I think I've seen all of them but
His
one.
name's Beau Starr, and then you've got Mike Starr.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike Starr is always playing a heavy.
And he is in
he-
this.
He dies
and-
from like a chili overdose, doesn't he? In Dumb and Dumber or something.
Yeah, he does. David Caruso said
a
to
heart
fight
attack
him, and you
brought
think
on
he
by the
hasn't
heat.
got a chance, but he
Yeah.
actually he fights because he fights for what's right. There's another scene where this woman's getting beaten up by her boyfriend, and he goes in and he just says,
You're right.
"You're
I
gonna
remembered
leave."
his performance. He's great.
Yeah,
he's
he's
fantastic.
brilliant in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's the fact that he just says, right, when she gets home, you're going to be gone. He just scares away this abusive boyfriend, and he's so calm with it. And also, I hadn't seen many. This was before Damian Lewis. This was even fucking before Ed Sheeran. I hadn't seen many ginger guys with power.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm ginger, but I'm just saying it was nice. It's nice to see.
Yes.
There's lots of real few reasons I love this film, and that's one of them. But David Caruso's great. The performances are great.
Really
It's the
made
new
me laugh.
year.
Yeah.
But yes. So to sum up, I love this film. I think it's got heart. I think it's romantic, and I didn't expect it to be romantic.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of things I didn't expect it to be. But when I go back to it, even though it hasn't got the element of surprise anymore, I still love it because I love the characters and I love the way in which it plays out. And I think it's got an excellent ending, which was reshot because audiences didn't like it, but I think it's come out really well. And also, it's got a guy in it called Derek Annunciation. Now, we tried working out at the time who Derek Annunciation was. We think he's a guy who gets killed in the opening scene. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is because he's called Derek Annunciation.
And with, yeah. To be honest, your enthusiasm for it has made me want to watch it again.
Yeah.
Because I've remembered how much I enjoyed it.
It is good.
You love it, and it's
I
one of
do.
your favourite films of all time. I really like it.
Yeah.
And
that's as much as I could ask. I think I was anxious when you were watching it with me, thinking, will he love it as much as I do? And the fact you loved it as much as an 8 is enough for me. I
Good.
think.
Excellent. Well, that brings us to the end of this podcast.
Next time, Ed Wood.
Next time, Ed Wood, which is excellent. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.